There are millions of people who play golf around the world. At its most competitive level, an elite few excel at the sport and achieve fame and fortune. But for most, it is a game played for fun and recreation. In golf, both young and old can seek their own rewards, whether it's learning to master the perfect swing, sharing a weekend afternoon in friendly competition, or just enjoying a few moments alone outdoors in the natural scenic beauty of a well-designed golf course. Still, golf remains a physical sport, a game that requires basic skills and senses. And it would be difficult to imagine how a game which often takes the better part of a lifetime to play well could be played at all by one who is physically challenged. Yet today, there are thousands without the gift of sight, the most precious of the senses, who have learned and even mastered the game of golf. Their level of success in the sport has even allowed many to compete in tournaments for the visually impaired. These events in America are organized by the United States Blind Golf Association. In fact, it was a friendly competition between two blind golfers that led to the creation of an organization to provide for the needs of visually impaired golfers.
Right after the war, Clint Russell went to the Veterans Administration and said, hey, here's a sport that these blind guys that have lost their sight in the war could do. And 1946, the first group of blind guys got together in California and played the first national championship.
Ultimately, these competitions and the growing interest by the visually impaired led to the formation of the United States Blind Golf Association in 1953. Since then, the USBGA has created many more regional tournaments, events that allow the growing numbers of blind and visually impaired golfers to play the game of golf.
Thanks, Joe. Good to see you.
However, sanctioning tournaments is not the most important goal of the United States Blind Golf Association.
The mission has to do with helping and encouraging people that have lost sight or all their sight to get back to the game of golf or learn it for the first time. We, as an organization, are simply here to compete, have a good time as golfers, but at the same time we try to encourage others to take up the game, find out how much fun it is, and if you don't want to play competitive, that's fine too.
The efforts of the United States Blind Golf Association made the public more aware that golf is indeed a game that can be played by everyone.
Nice, nice. Oh, right over the pin.
They told me about the United States Blind Golf Association and they said no females play, so they said you should try and maybe you could be the first female member and start playing golf. So I started and I liked it.
In there.
Yes.
Super.
Their efforts accelerated in 2002, and when Lions Clubs International joined in a partnership with the USBGA, their message spread even further and faster.
The Lions is a great organization that is worldwide. Their motto, we serve. They've been very good to the USBGA in helping us with grants that have enabled us to hold tournaments all over the country and work with many clinics getting youngsters, young, blinded, and visually impaired children involved in this great game of golf. We're also working with some seniors, members of different veterans homes, and getting them involved in the great game of golf. So that grant that the Lions has given us has definitely helped us be able to go out and spread our message to everyone.
Outstanding.
Now anyone who is blind or visually impaired can learn the game from golf professionals.
I didn't do this.
Yeah, you can. Look at it. You're perfect. That's good. The club's right behind the ball. You're fine. Put both hands on it.
We're putting on clinics around the country, maybe a dozen clinics a year, and this is through the Lions Club. They've provided the funding for this, but we're reaching hundreds of children. Now, will they all become golfers? No. But for the first time in their lives, they see that they can. And a few will, but a whole lot of them will do things that they thought they couldn't do otherwise. And I'd like to think we took a part in that.
Yeah!
There you go.
Great play. Yeah,
That was good.
I heard it hit the metal cup.
Yeah.
One little girl told me that it felt like, she said it felt like butter when I hit the golf ball. And I said, what does that mean? She said, well, I hit it and it went up in the air and I almost didn't feel it, she said. Another little boy said, I hit the ball and I heard it land. Gee, he said, it flew a long way. If you can hit a golf ball that goes up in the air and goes a long way, maybe, just maybe, you can be part of your neighborhood. Maybe, just maybe, you can get a college education. Maybe, just maybe, you can find a good job. Maybe, just maybe, you can fall in love. And maybe, just maybe, you can have a life.
But the efforts of the USBGA don't stop with just teaching the game, because having the physical ability to play the game is not enough to allow the vision impaired to succeed and truly enjoy the sport. It takes another pair of eyes, the eyes of a partner, a coach, a friend.
It's amazing. There are a lot of people out there, especially when I go in my daily duties and travels and explain what I do, people are like, how do they do that? How do they do it? I go, just like you or I would. It's the same. There's no difference. They just need the assistance of a coach to help them play.
Anybody can coach. You don't have to know squat about golf, and I'm a perfect example of that. You just have to have the desire to help your friend, your buddy, whoever he is, go out and enjoy the afternoon.
Okay, here's your ball.
They can't play without you. That's the most important. They need a body. You don't have to be a great golfer. They literally need somebody to be their eyes. Point them in the right direction, get them a yardage. They can pretty much do the rest themselves if they can just find out where to go with it. Oh, and somebody needs to find the ball too. After they hit it, it's a good idea if somebody can find it.
Blind golfers need someone to see where their golf ball goes and to help them line up for their shots. That's what's involved in coaching.
It is truly the ultimate team sport. I would think, I said this to one of the other players today, it has got to be one of the most difficult feelings to coach us when things just aren't going well.
The USBGA has also created awareness campaigns, as well as teaching programs for the many needed volunteers, family, and friends who are so necessary to make it possible for the visually impaired to learn and play the game of golf.
It come up and went to the right. You're right of the sand trap. Good shot, nice approach shot from there.
The teamwork between a coach of a blind golfer and the blind golfer is one of the great things that I've been involved in or am aware of in athletics. There's such a camaraderie that I get teary, in all honesty, thinking about what these young men have done for me. And now I'm blessed to have my son Patrick coaching me.
Pretty much dead straight, slightly uphill, but there's no bunkers, no water on this one. It's just dead straight away.
Whenever I tell people about my dad or any, the U.S. Blind Golf Association, a lot of people at first think I'm kidding. But then once I go through the process and explain how it's actually done, they become fascinated by it and want to learn more and more about it. So I think it's something that you really have to see to believe and to really understand. It's hard to describe what a coach has to do with their player unless you've actually seen the process of the players working together.
Man, anybody ought to be able to make it if he hits it that close.
The important role of the coach is simple: to be the eyes of the blind golfer, to communicate the basic information a visually impaired player needs to determine what club to hit.
If you go with the 4-iron, you're going to keep it down.
Okay, good call.
And where to aim.
Going to aim to the right in there.
As well as to help the blind golfer align his body in order for his swing to make solid contact with the ball.
How's that? Perfect.
The experience can be just as rewarding for the golfer's coach as it is for his visually impaired partner.
Get in there. Get in there. Sweet putt. Good job. Good job.
I tell you that it would probably be one of the most rewarding things you could possibly do. To think that you could take someone and bring such joy and recreation to someone who is blind or vision impaired.
The pin is actually off the left corner of that bunker.
The United States Blind Golf Association works on behalf of all visually impaired players to ensure that they can compete on an equal level with all others who play the game. They've been at the forefront in working with the USGA, the organization responsible for creating the rules that govern golf in the United States.
There are really only two differences in what blind golfers play by that they're allowed to do that other golfers are not allowed to do. One of them is to ground their golf club in hazards. And the other thing that is allowed to happen in blind golf is that the coach is allowed to stand on their line of play. And neither one of those things are allowed for any other golfers. But beyond that, they play by the same rules as everyone else.
Number 3.
That's what I love about it so much, is that we can go out and play in any tournament against anyone, you know, youngster, a senior, a man, woman, and we all can compete evenly. And that's through the great system that the USGA has established, the handicap system.
The USBGA has defined the various categories of blindness as they pertain to the game of golf. Categories ranging from total blindness to limited vision that make it possible for visually impaired golfers to compete among themselves.
Back when I joined in '92, it was strictly totally blind members. And in 2000, we opened up our association to the vision impaired. And because of that, we've grown a lot.
I was about as low as you can get, because, I'd played golf for a long time and got to playing pretty good. And all of a sudden I can't play anymore. And I felt bad. I really felt bad about it. And this organization has helped make up for some of the bad spot. It got me really interested again. I'm working hard at it now. You don't really have to see to play.
The success of the United States Blind Golf Association has been well documented over the last 50 years. But there is still much work to be done. While the USBGA has reached many blind and visually impaired people of all ages, the continued success of these awareness programs, clinics, and tournaments depends on your support. The United States Blind Golf Association, a 501c3 corporation, relies heavily on contributions from individuals, companies, and other organizations in addition to foundation grants. To learn how you can help, please visit the USBGA website at www.blindgolf.com or call the national office at 850-893-4511. The true measure of the USBGA's success is best documented by the golfers themselves, as well as their coaches, family, and friends, all of whom prove every day that you don't have to see it to tee it.
No, it's given him his world. It gives him the freedom of, I think one of the things most of the blind people enjoy about golf, especially Bob, is you can walk out on a golf course and not have to hold on to somebody.
If a blind person, realizing that they will never play again, suddenly hits a ball 130 yards, you begin to wonder just what is possible. And my whole world opened up. I just realized that I could get around, I could probably have a career, I could marry, have a family. It really taught me that, and I know this sounds a little trite, but it taught me that through partnership, anything is possible.
We've got people that have had holes in one. We have people that shot in the 70s. We've had people that play with the presidents of the United States. So it's really afforded the blind a great opportunity to do something that they really have been told they can't do. And trust me, they can.
You don't ever hear a blind golfer say, I can't. If anybody in the world had a right to complain about something, why, it could be these people, or it could be anyone that has a limiting disability, if you will, but that's another word that they don't use either, and rightfully so, because the human spirit prevails in this group of people as much or more than any other group of people that I've ever been around.